You know that feeling, right? You log into your 401k account, or maybe you get one of those home value estimate emails and you see the number and it's up. Maybe it's way up. You get that little buzz, that sense of, hey, I'm doing okay. It feels great, doesn't it?
Of course you do. I mean, who wouldn't? Even though you haven't actually sold anything, not a single stock, you haven't put your house on the market, that number staring back at you, it just feels real. And maybe you start thinking, that vacation doesn't seem so crazy anymore. Or maybe it's time to upgrade the car. That feeling is incredibly powerful. And as it turns out, it's also incredibly predictable.
And this feeling, it actually has a name. It's called the wealth effect. And listen, this isn't just you. This is a real, documented psychological phenomenon. We humans have a tendency to loosen the purse strings and spend more freely just because our net worth, on paper, looks healthy.
But here's the catch, and it's a big one. While that feeling of wealth is nice in the moment, it's also a hidden trap. It coaxes you into building a lifestyle based on gains that aren't actually in your bank account. Gains that can, and often do, disappear when the market takes a turn. So how do you know if you've fallen into this trap? Well, let's break down the 4 most common signs that your spending habits are being quietly influenced by this paper wealth instead of your actual income.
And you might think this is just some vague feeling, but researchers have actually put a number on it. The National Bureau of Economic Research did this fascinating study where they asked what happens when the stock market creates just one single dollar of new wealth.
For every $1 increase in stock market wealth, consumer spending goes up by 2.8 cents a year. Now, I know what you're thinking. 2.8 cents, that sounds like nothing. But scale that up, we're talking trillions of dollars in market gains. Suddenly, you're looking at a massive wave of consumer spending fueled by nothing more than confidence. It's that feeling of having a safety net that makes us lower our guard. And that is where the danger really begins.
Okay, so this isn't some abstract economic theory. It shows up in very real ways. Let's walk through those 4 big warning signs. First up, and this is a classic, you start spending based on your portfolio's performance. Your investment account is up 20% for the year, and all of a sudden that luxury vacation seems totally reasonable. The problem is you're funding a new lifestyle with money that could literally vanish in the next market downturn. The second sign is spending based on your home's Zillow estimate. And studies show the wealth effect from housing is even stronger than from stocks. This gets really risky when people take out home equity loans to pay for things like new cars or trips, turning that imaginary paper wealth into very real, very tangible debt. Third, you find yourself cutting back on savings. Moody's Analytics found a clear link here. When our net worth looks good, we just don't feel the same urgency to save. It's like, hey, I'm doing great, I can ease up a bit. But what you're actually doing is taking apart your financial safety net, leaving yourself totally exposed when, not if, a correction comes. And finally, the 4th sign, and this one is the sneakiest of them all, gradual lifestyle inflation. It just creeps up on you. As asset values climb, especially for the top 10% of earners who, by the way, drive about half of all consumer spending, so do the expenses. That daily gourmet coffee, the pricier car, the bigger house, they slowly become your new normal, making it incredibly painful to cut back when your paper wealth evaporates. Okay, so that's the problem. It's a serious one. But the good news is, you're not powerless here. Once you can see the trap, you can absolutely build a defense against it. Let's talk about the antidote. It really boils down to 3 simple but super powerful rules. First, ground your budget in reality. That means your spending decisions are based on your stable, reliable income, your paycheck, not the roller coaster of your investment accounts. Second, automate your savings and keep it consistent. Your savings rate should be the same whether the market is booming or busting. Don't let a good year convince you to take your foot off the gas. And third, and this is so important, before any big purchase, you have to stress test it. So what does a stress test look like? It's actually pretty simple. Before you sign on the dotted line for that new house, that new car, whatever it is, you have to ask yourself one tough question. Could I still comfortably afford this if my assets dropped by 20 or even 30% tomorrow? If the honest answer is no, then you can't really afford it. All right, let's bring this all home. When we strip everything else away, what is the one core idea you need to remember from all of this? This is it. I really want you to let this one sink in. Those numbers on the screen, they aren't cash in your hand. They're potential. They represent what your assets could be worth. And treating potential like it's reality, well, that's a recipe for turning a temporary good feeling into long-term regret. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. I want you to take a really honest look at your own spending and ask yourself, Is my financial life built on the solid ground of my actual income? Or is it a bit of a house of cards, propped up by volatile numbers on a screen that could change in a heartbeat? Your future financial security really does depend on that answer.